I have a lot of hobbies, one of my favorites being photography. Even though I come from the world of broadcast media, there's something special about capturing the essence of a moment in time in a single frame. In truth, I'm an amateur at best, and I'm okay with that for now. I have no choice but to be okay with it because honestly, I don't shoot enough to improve as much as I'd like to. And when I do, I almost never post what I shoot. I rarely ever share my photos, and it's not because I don't want to, it's because it has to meet a certain standard before the world sees it. It has to be sharp, it has to be beautiful, it has to be just right, it has to be perfect. Herein lies the problem: perfectionism. My battle with perfectionism extends far beyond my photography. It has affected my music, my personal relationships, and definitely my business. But what exactly does it mean to be a perfectionist? The dictionary folks say perfectionism is a disposition to regard anything short of perfection as unacceptable. That's the definition by the book, but what does it mean to me? Opportunities, lost because I never took them if I thought I wasn't ready enough. Time, wasted due to needless tweaking and changing something that was done a long time ago. Unnecessary anxiety after the completion of a project because I'm hoping nobody noticed that little thing that I could have changed that nobody but me would notice or even care about. Or ending a project before I finish it because it isn't working out exactly the way I wanted it to. But where does perfectionism come from? Everyone's different, so there's no single answer. It can come from things like fear of societal disapproval, fear of disappointing your parents, especially if one of them was also a perfectionist. Something more serious like OCD, or something really common like social comparison. And see, I think that one's a really big one. Social media has made it easy to compare our lives and our work to that of complete strangers. And in some people that can create a sense of inadequacy. Therefore, if whatever they're doing doesn't look as good as the infamous Susie Pants 87, it never sees the light of day. Here's another thing. Some people aren't all around perfectionists. Like me. Was I an academic perfectionist? Absolutely not. Was I a perfectionist at work? Nope. But when it comes to my photography, or an audition, or the podcast that I used to have, in other words, things I feel represent me and who I am, yeah, no doubt. But what's wrong with wanting to get something right? Well, nothing. We should all strive for excellence in everything we do. However, the issue comes as the ego enters, delivering expectations instead of aspirations. When we expect to be so perfect that it brings us anxiety or fear, we have crossed the line between a healthy desire for excellence and dangerous perfectionism. So let me ask you, are you a perfectionist? Has perfectionism affected you as you shoot towards your goals? How have you tried to beat it? Beating perfectionism isn't easy, but it's just like beating any other fear. You just gotta hit it head on. So here are a few lessons that I'm learning that I hope will help me snap out of it. Number 1, just go. Sometimes you just gotta get going. Those of us who enjoy card games might have once used the phrase, you study long, you study wrong. In spades, that's just a slick way to say, hey man, just play your card, you're thinking too much. In the context of this conversation, it means overthinking leads to mistakes. Sometimes you just gotta play your card and see how it runs. It has been said that perfectionism is the mother of procrastination and the enemy of progress. To whoever said that, I owe you a drink. Number 2, set deadlines and hold yourself accountable. Another thing that has sometimes helped me in the past was setting a concrete deadline. For example, the one video I did put up on the Edge YouTube channel, the intro, I promised myself that I was going to put it out on my 40th birthday no matter what. I didn't want to disappoint myself on my own birthday, especially my 40th. So I pushed myself to get it done. I could have tweaked it and changed that video for another week or 10, but I had to keep my promise to myself. So try setting a concrete deadline for yourself. Tell yourself no matter what happens, you got to get it done by that deadline and hold yourself accountable. Number 3, sometimes you just got to make a mess. This helps me with my writing. My grammar is by far not perfect. My spelling is kind of trash too. That's why I couldn't get a job in print journalism when I tried. But when it comes to writing for myself, like an essay or a script or something, instead of trying to write everything perfectly right off the bat, sometimes I just like to write my thoughts without any corrections. My first drafts probably read like Lil Pump lyrics, jumbled, nonsensical, and ridiculous. But once I get everything out on the page, I'm able to restructure what I'm trying to say. But don't forget number 2, the deadline, because eventually you gotta finish it and put it out. Number 4, the wrong feedback leads to setbacks. There are some people we just can't ask for opinions, so don't. Feedback isn't always constructive. It can also be destructive. Some folks will sit there and nitpick your projects until you're left asking yourself, why am I doing this again? If you really want to get someone's opinion on something you're working on, be sure to only ask the people who will be constructive, not people who have a point to prove. Number 5, be brutally honest with yourself. In other words, set realistic expectations for yourself from the beginning. That means if you're a soccer player, you're not Ronaldo. Accept it. Rappers, you're not Jay-Z. Deal with it. Entrepreneurs, you're not Gary Vee. It is what it is. You're you. And you're at the level you're at. Just grow from there. Full disclosure, this is the hardest one for me. For example, I think of my photography. The thing I love about some of my favorite photographers like Sean Tucker, Antonio Martin, and Josh Jackson is that their photos have so much soul in them. I get a feeling just from looking at them. My photos simply capture cool things that I enjoyed looking at the moment. What they accomplish through their art comes with time and practice, things I haven't given much to mine. But I can't help but to look at my pictures and compare them to these guys, which always leaves me disappointed and makes me not want to share. Strive for personal excellence, not perfection. Again, what's the difference? Perfectionism is based on fear of imperfection. Excellence is about the desire to be great. It's about drive. The road to excellence can lead to perfectionism if the ego takes the wheel. So aim for excellence and be proactive and leave the perfectionism behind.